Good to see you. And item number 8. Motorhome Rally application at Kinloch.
I'd move the resolution, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you very much. It's one of the quicker.
Yeah, I can be helpful when I want.
Yeah, no problem. Anything that Ella would like to say regarding this particular the item has been moved. Yep. Questions?
Just to shock Councillor Body, I'd like to second his.
Second that. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any other people would like to talk in favour of this or talk against it? Okay, been moved and seconded. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Item number 9. Jane. Jane Budge. Nice to see you, Jane. TDC submission on a legal framework for burials. So steady girl.
Bit of a mouthful, but
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
This is basically a first principles paper, so it's extremely early in the policy development. So I take it as read. Any questions?
I just had a couple of questions. Fascinating reading. I mean, I agree in principle with everything you've done, and I think you've done a sterling job. I'd just like to reiterate that I wouldn't really like to see any extra compliance costs put down on ratepayers. So just as this is going through its process, I don't think it's fair to shift the burden of that onto the ratepayers. But no, a very well done piece.
I will just add that right at the time of the agenda being put together, our GNZ submission came out, and there's nothing overly different from ours. So
they copied off you?
I'd like to think so.
You worship, I have a number of quick questions. If we go to page 9/7, question number 2. There is a likelihood that they will eventually reach a point of non-profitability and revert to council management. Why would that be?
Basically, they fill up, and then you no longer get any income.
Mr. Chairman, this is an issue not so much with cemeteries yet because it hasn't been able to happen, but with private water and wastewater schemes, and I think we briefly mentioned that today, that our experience nationally is that private providers often set things up, it then doesn't go as planned, and so then they'll come to council and ask you to take it over from a public good perspective.
There's actually some older cemeteries in the country as well that have actually got to filled stage. One in particular is in Paurua, and eventually it took an act of parliament to transfer it to the council because they do become unprofitable.
Okay. If we go to then page 9/8, question 8, TDC does not support a mandatory requirement that resource consents be publicly notified. Once again, why?
I will basically defer to my sort of resource management experts here, but basically the factor that associated with crematoria will allude it to having a consent anyway, which will have to be publicly notified. It just was maintaining some flexibility.
Yeah, okay. Question 16 on the same page then. Once again, local regulator TDC supports any statutory clarification. However, does not believe it is appropriate to comment specifically on the issue. And you've got questions on the other page, 18 and 19. Was it 18 and the one before that, 17, with the same, not making comment? What are the reasons for that?
Basically because the submission is based on council as a whole, not as a individual. A couple of those questions are a bit personal and aren't really our position to make comment on. The other ones associated with the actual land courts and the family court, again, basically Ministry of Justice is much more in a better position to make a comment on that, not us.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? The suggested resolution there that we submit. Move Councillor Park, seconded by Councillor Cousins. Thank you very much. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, carried. Item number 10. Sale of liquor and policy. Hello.
Again, that's me.
Nice to see you again.
Basically, this one, it's an extremely out-of-date policy. It was actually more of a guide rather than an actual important policy as such. Will be made obsolete with the new legislation coming into force. This is not anything to do with the establishment of a local alcohol policy, and we will be holding workshops with you in regard to that in the new year.
I'd move the resolution. You wish.
Thank you, Councillor Brody. Anyone else? Councillor Hickling? I'll second. So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
And those against? Okay, thank you very much, Jane.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 11, you've just been tabled a new, slightly amended document. Has everyone got that? Tina?
That's correct, Your Worship.
Council engagements for February.
So it's really the engagement one, the agenda item that was in, or the item that was in your agenda, didn't take into account whether you were going to do an LTP process or an annual plan process. So this is now based on the annual plan process that you'll be carrying out. So there's some additional workshops that have been now included from the original agenda item. There's also an additional committee there, the Fencing, Reserves and Dog Committee, Fred. So apparently there's a few items being needed to be looked at by the committee.
Okay. All right. Councillor Truman.
Are we still having a meeting on the 7th of February?
That's the retreat. Yes, yeah, but that's just councillor only retreat. 7th February, yeah. Spiritual retreat.
Online.
Yeah. Okay, so we would like to go through the there's a suggested resolution there. Yeah, we just want to go through these councillors. You want to go through each part of the resolutions?
Yep. So the next part is conferences and professional development opportunities. And at a previous meeting talked about making good decisions, and then some councillors indicated that they were wanting to attend that course, and I think there's several councillors who need the refresher. So those dates are now available, and really want to have some idea in terms of what dates might be suitable and who might like to go, bearing in mind February is probably reasonably busy.
Councillor Park.
Before we get into this, because I can't remember who's interested in what, but it was made pretty clear at the last council meeting about how some councillors felt about spending money, unnecessary monies on attending things. And I know we've got a number of councillors in the room that already have the Making Good Decisions certification, and I just note the difference in cost between recertifying versus sending councillors away on the foundation course. And I just wonder, for the sake of keeping costs down in this area of conference and professional development, that perhaps it might be more prudent at this time, considering the people that around the table that have got the certification, how often they've actually used it in the last 3 years, that perhaps we just look at recertifying those already qualified rather than adding more to the mix at this point. But just a comment.
Councillor Johns.
Your Worship, I'd just like to make a point. There's a big difference in training and understanding the Resource and Management Act compared to going to a conference down in Wellington to have some dinner and listen to a presentation. Just for the record, I think what we should be looking at is probably not having everyone certified. However, I don't think the difference in cost should be the basis on the decision of who goes and who doesn't. I think there's a lot to be learned. We keep getting reminded as new councillors that we need to learn and understand. Well, I suggest that it should be new councillors that go this time, and the existing councillors let their RMA accreditation lapse if they would like to save some money. The fact that no one's attended any hearings yet, I suspect that those circumstances will change in the next 2 years. Thank you.
Excuse me, Your Worship, can I
Councillor Park.
I'd just make a comment that as a fellow member of the Emergency Management Committee, I find that comment extremely insulting, and I wish for an apology from that new councillor.
And
He has no idea what an emergency management conference entails, actually, and I can send her the report from last time just for her to clarify that it is not about eating dinner in Wellington.
well, I'll look forward to seeing your report, but no apology will be coming from this side of the table today.
Okay, well, we'll just tone down our remarks, I think, to be courteous to our fellow councillors will be good too.
Absolutely agree with
So, any other queries on this? Is any,
I've just got a query that's making good decisions. Is that to do with the RMA or what?
yes, here it is.
We'll follow on from the workshop this morning.
It's a initial, Tina, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the initial foundation course for if you're wanting to become accredited as a consenter, which I did do a few years ago, but mine's lapsed. But I won't have the time to do it this time round. So anyone that's got a particular interest in resource management,
Well, I have, but I don't think I would go with that cost. Maybe Councillor Hickling can explain what the advantages may or may not be, and how many times he was called on to make the appropriate decisions.
who's that?
Travel, you've got
Councillor?
accommodation. You're talking $2,500 to $3,000.
Yeah, what is the cost, Tina? Is it?
So it's $1,900 for the foundation course,
Oh, yeah.
plus it's a night away, and the recertification is just
I
over
see. Yeah.
If I can, Your Worship, I'm not going to comment obviously on the cost of it, but what I would say is that this accreditation process is incredibly valuable, and more than just for resource consent hearings. So yes, you have to have it if you're going to be doing resource consent hearings, but for matters like what we discussed this morning, knowing this background and having this information is handy for a whole raft of decisions that you'll make as councillors going forward.
Your Worship, because I asked Mr. Green, where can we get information to actually sit at home in front of the fire and read it? I've gone to many, many conferences and seminars and learning sessions in the last 50 years, and if I started to look back on the value of them, while it's all very nice at the time, Councillor Hicklin's indicated he's used it none in 3 years, and I don't know about the others. I'm sure there are better ways to do it than that, but I'm open to suggestions.
But you do have to attend this.
We can, if you want to do the hearings, you've got to attend this particular course. There is some information online which I can provide you a link to if you want. What I would say though is it is compared to other courses, it is incredibly full on. It's essentially it's a degree. It's run by the university. It's sort of degree level stuff. It comprises of, and I'll probably get this wrong, Councillor Hickling, but a pre-assessment. So you've got to do an assignment first based on reading that you have to do. There's then, I think it's a 3-day course in Auckland, which includes a whole lot of learning, training and role playing, and then a follow-up assignment at the end of that. So it is pretty full on. I think the pass rate is something like 70%. About 30% of people fail every year.
I passed.
You passed it?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
So you wouldn't want us to come back admitted we'd failed then, Gareth?
Just then on that point, it was raised a minute ago, I think by Ms. Jakes, that we do have a busy February. 2 of those dates have annual plan sessions. I think it's more important to have an annual plan session.
Thanks, Councillor. Yeah, can I just clarify, who is actually accredited at the moment? Councillor Hickling?
And Councillor Craig.
And Catherine Clark.
Great, yeah, so it is a bit thin. It's pretty thin on the ground, isn't it? So who is anyone interested in going anyway, put it that way?
Your Worship, I'm interested in going, but I was just going to I looked at the dates on the calendar for the annual planning, and it seemed to me the best window was the 7th and 8th of May, I think.
Okay, anyone else?
Well, Councillor Cousins and myself indicated back in the day, but no. When do we have to make these decisions by?
There's an opportunity, if
In
you're not
February.
going to do February 1, we can bring it back,
Bring it back.
again for you to consider before May. So we could bring it back in April, March or April, for you to have another look at.
So the refresher course is just a 1 day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so.
I
That's
think it is, isn't it?
That's the recertification
It's an
course.
assignment as well. Yeah.
Okay, so
Your Worship, would it then be possible for Councillor Hickling to be re-assessed?
certified. He's got to be recertified in current health check.
Yeah, Kirsty's is same time. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a indication that Councillor Jollins can go to the one on the 7th May. and possibly you, Councillor Boddy and Cousins will make the decision at the February meeting. Now, if we go to the re-certification course,
I'd prefer to make that in February.
February?
Yes.
There's not one in
It's
February.
not until probably March or...
Oh, February meeting. Okay, leave it till the February meeting. Okay, so we'll strike out number
I'll have to
3.
think about it.
Unless, Councillor Truman.
Oh, I'm just saying, if I'm happy to, like you say, give it to the new ones to learn. It's a really valuable learning experience.
Yeah.
So you've got...
We have a budget, you know, if it's going to go over our budget.
So you're certified at the moment. So when does that come up?
March, I think it is. March.
March. So
Around about March.
you'll be due for recertification though, eh? So you're happy to leave it till February and then make a call on the date then? Yeah.
So,
You don't want to let it lapse.
Yeah,
one of
yes,
the,
Mr. Chairman, that may raise a little issue for us because we obviously still, if councillors still want to be involved in consenting hearings, which you don't have to be, but under the current delegations you are, then we need to have at least one member, 2 members actually certified at all times.
Delegations.
If we wait until for the till March for that decision, you might not actually be on that course because it might be full because they do fill up quite fast, and it will cost you more because you don't get the early bird fee. But then if someone doesn't pass, then we're in a situation we don't have any councillors, we can't fulfil our statute.
So which one would you prefer, Councillor Hickling? May or March? March or May?
Probably the one in Wellington would probably suit me, I think, the 20th of March.
20th of March. March.
Well, I haven't had a look at, does that affect any of the other meetings that we've just...
And we haven't gone up to March, so this is just up to February. We could just leave it open that it's either the 13th or 20th.
Either 13th or 20th of March,
Okay.
whatever.
Yep.
I mean,
And Councillor Truman, you okay with that?
Are we able to afford it?
Well, you're going to lapse otherwise, so you might as well keep current. You look pretty good to me, but you need a current one of fitness, you know.
Yeah, and from what Gareth is saying, Kirsty, we need a
it would be a waste of an investment if you didn't.
What
Yeah,
about
It's like a lot of money for people that ever use it.
Okay, so we've got that. That's number 3. Now, Upper Waikato Liaison Zone Subcommittee.
So these are a couple of appointments that went done when we did our round of appointments, and that was due to the fact that Waikato Regional Council hadn't set up their committee structure. They've now done so 28th of November, and there's the ability to appoint a councillor to each of those 2 zone committees, subcommittees, one being Upper Waikato and the other one being Lake Taupo. So that provides opportunity along with a deputy as well.
Okay, so who's interested? Councillor number 4 is Lake Maraito around that area, do you think?
So
Mango area?
That area is basically from just below the Hooker Falls to Karapiro, the Upper Waikato.
Yep.
It's quite a large catchment.
Waikato catchment, okay. Who would like to?
I'd certainly be interested.
Councillor Hickling, thank you. And
Else?
Quarter normally they meet.
anyone else? Councillor Truman, thank you. For the Upper Waikato. And what about the Lake Taupo Liaison Zone Subcommittee? Councillor Williamson, thank you.
What's that entail?
Is that right or not? No.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay, Councillor Williamson.
And then lastly is the District Licensing Committee. So the appointments have been made for outside members, and this provides the ability for councillors to be appointed to be on the approved list. There's 3 councillors who did attend the training.
Okay, so
And
that's cool.
one of the councillors needs to be the deputy chairperson of the District Licensing Committee as well, so that appointment needs to be made.
We need to make that now.
We wish I would move Councillor Hickling.
Second.
Who? Sorry, Councillor.
Hickling.
Exactly. Yeah, he's quite happy with that too, by the look of it.
Yeah, I have to be careful now.
Detail. Now, this is Waipahihi. This was my little scenario. I haven't.
You didn't ask me if I accepted that.
You said yes. I saw you nod. Are you happy with that appointment, prestigious appointment,
I
Councillor?
have got a pretty high workload. You should.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Who else is there?
It's not that big. I'm hoping to get secretarial services as well.
You might get an extra 5% salary too. No. Okay, so that's all right. So you're okay at this stage?
Yeah.
Yep. The Waipahihi Botanical Society rang me up, and they would like one of the Johns. So, so whichever John would like to do that, they suggested that of their manual, basically their manual ability, dig holes and plant trees.
No, it's just a board meeting. Just to attend the board meeting on a Thursday, and the board meetings are in the summer 11:15. They last for probably 2 hours. In the winter, it's 3:15, and it's on the first Thursday of the month.
Okay, I'll do it then.
Unless anyone else is jumping at the...
More mileage to get me
John.
John Williamson?
Yeah.
Great, thank you, Councillor Williamson. Got that all, Ariana? Good girl. Okay, so that's all good. That's all filled in the gaps there. So could I have a mover for that resolution, please? Councillor Cousins, seconded by Councillor Dollins. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, carried. Item number 12. Tina, are you again, is it?
So this is basically a yearly plan of council and committee meetings. It's quite good to have that. It's then popped on the website, so the ratepayers know when our meetings are. And basically, as you can see, Tuesdays is taken up with most of the meetings, both council and committee, along with workshops.
Okay, thanks, Tina. Everyone's had a look
at the approving that of your
the schedule there. Yeah, Rosie's very happy. She's got plenty of spare time, but look at it. Any other queries on questions of the dates? Tina, okay. Can I have a mover for the resolution, please? Thanks, Councillor Stewart. Seconded by Councillor Park. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, carried.